Let's get this cracking, man. All right. What's up? What's up, man? You know I have to do this one for the people, you know? So tap on in, man. Where y'all at? We're gonna get the people some time to get up in here, man. Mm-hmm. Where y'all at, man? You know you're gonna get this heat from Preem, man. Consistently, baby. What's going on out there, man? Gail, shout out to Gail for being in the building. Right. I appreciate you, Gail, at night. True Warrior Scholar. What's popping, my brother? Shout out to the people. This one gonna be good right here, man. Real good, man. Tap on in, man. Giving y'all some early morning content. Where you at? He said, putting in my application for ICE. Oh man, this one gonna be good, man. I'm getting ready to break a whole lot of stuff down. Let me make sure the microphone is on. Okay, the microphone is good. All right, man. We in the place. You in the place to be. King Supreme. It is what it is. Yeah, this is Sunny. Now, you guys remember I did some content on Sunny, like, was it a year ago or 2 years ago, right? Sunny is the same guy who said, when it comes to blacks getting reparations, tell them no. The Raza needs to march. I'm talking heavy protests. That's him. That's him. Good, Red Dog. We got to listen, homie, we got a whole lot of changes going on over here. You won't be blocked. You know, we had some moderators who would block people for things that I never wanted people to get blocked for. But guess what, man? We cleaned house. We doing better numbers. Everything is better, right? So it is what it is. I appreciate you all, man. So if you got blocked on the other channel, you're welcome over here. You can start on a clean slate over here on King Supreme. You dig what I'm saying? Appreciate everybody for tapping in. Shout out to Tammy Jackson. You already know. Now, this dude had a problem with us getting reparations from the American government. What does that have to do with Mexicans? Right? He said, when it comes to blacks getting reparations, tell them no. The raza needs to march. I'm talking heavy protests. Because it's not fair, Holmes. How are you going to give reparations to a specific group of people? That's what he said. And guess what? I'm going to show you the video to prove everything that I'm saying. I'm not putting words in his mouth. I got the audio, I got the video, man. I can prove everything that I said. Shout out to Reg Dog 89, man. I appreciate you for tapping in, man. It was a minor mistake. One of my moderators blocked some people, but hey, man, you back in the place to be. King Supreme, doing the damn thing first thing in the morning, chopping up games. You play upon it, man. You know, Red Supreme coming through with the street wisdom, the certified ism. You know, I will start doing a membership, man. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have certain content for members, and I'm gonna be doing more work on my Patreon where you can get the raw content, things that I can't upload on YouTube. So be on the lookout for that membership. The membership thing, I'll get it cracking this week, no problem. I ain't even gonna procrastinate on that one, man. We're gonna make it happen. Now he said, when it comes to blacks getting reparations, tell them no. The raza needs to march. I mean, heavy protests. So this is the same guy who said he wanted to march and protest against us receiving reparations. You know how much money we pay every year feeding illegal immigrants, border hoppers, people who cross the border illegally for the sole purpose of dumping anchor babies for birthright citizenship? Do you know that California has spent billions on illegal immigrants, people who cross the border illegally? Chicago, the city of Chicago spent billions. They spent over $1 billion in 2023 on illegal immigrants alone. New York City has spent billions on illegal immigrants. And guess what? We are paying taxes. The taxes we pay fund these illegal immigrants. The same thing in Los Angeles, the same thing for the whole state of California. We have spent billions taking care of illegal immigrants that come from his country. But he got the nerve to say that he gonna march and protest against what? Our reparations. The Raza needs to march. I'm talking heavy protests. When it comes to blacks getting reparations, tell them no. That's what this dude said. Now, the 14th Amendment, who was that for? That was for foundational Black Americans. The 14th and 13th Amendment came out of a grassroots movement. And guess what? Illegal immigrants benefit off of everything that we fought for. The civil rights movement. Illegal border hoppers get more civil rights than American citizens. They're the main ones who benefit when they come over here. Because guess what? If it wasn't for the civil rights bill being passed, they could never come over here in the first place. They will be stuck in their country. Then they want to do hip hop. So they benefit from the 13th and 14th Amendment, which was for foundational Black Americans. They benefit from the civil rights movement, which was foundational Black Americans. We got dog sicked on us. We got hit with power hoses. We got jumped on. We got thrown in prison to get this movement cracking, the 1964 Civil Rights Bill. And guess what? All these immigrants and all these other people of color benefit from our struggle. But he got the nerve to say that he's going to march and protest against our reparations. That's crazy. Smash the like button. It ain't nothing. Tap on in. She play upon it, man. King Supreme, giving with hey, man. Hey, we ain't even gonna get into that, man. I'm gonna dive right into the conversation. Now, I want y'all to hear what this dude said about me. And I'm gonna use his words against him. I'm gonna use his words against him. I'm not gonna make anything up. Check it out. Now, this is what he had to say about the Lucky from Hood stocks and all this, right? Now, check it out. Sporty Face is Forex's cousin. Sporty Face challenged Lucky from Hood's Media to a fade. Instead of Lucky from Hood Media saying, "Okay, I'll accept the fade," you know what he said? He want to make it some street stuff. Come up over here. You know you're not going to be by yourself. You're going to have your homies. Then it gets ugly. Somebody goes to jail. Somebody goes to prison. To avoid all of that, Sporty Face said, "Look here, dude. It can be me and you. We can catch that one-on-one fade. This ain't got nothing to do with no police. This ain't got nothing to do with no racists. Ain't nobody going to jail. This ain't got to be no black and brown war. Me and you can meet up, catch the fade. We can put it on camera." Instead of Lucky from Hood Stocks, the dude who called us an African booty scratcher, instead of him accepting the fade, he want to make it some hood stuff. Well, I'm gonna be at such and such on Wooty Woo with all my homies. You scared, dude? Just say you scared. Just say you scared. The man said we can fight one-on-one. We can both get paid. Nobody's going to jail, and it ain't got to turn into no race war. We can meet up, put it on camera, and catch that one-on-one fade. Shout out to Sporty Face, man, for handling business, for standing on business. Hey, homeboy, Lucky, bro. Just say you scared. Sporty Face said, "I'm not going to make it a race thing. I'm not going to get my homies involved. You don't need to get your homies involved. Ain't nobody got to go to prison. We can catch that fade one-on-one, mano y mano." But guess what? The dude who called us a booty scratcher said, "No, man, I ain't finna meet up for no fight. I'm going to be in Whittier with all my homies. If you got something to do, then pull up and just do it." Come on, homeboy. We're trying to avoid jail. We're trying to avoid prison. Mano, the man called you out for a one-on-one fade. Anyway, let's get into this clip right here. I want y'all to hear what Sonny had to say about Lucky. He said, "Well, I'm not going to say he was wrong or right. You're condoning it. And I get it. You're the same man who said you're going to march against our reparations. So, no, I don't expect you to say that the man was wrong. Listen, we didn't expect for the Rasa to put hands and feet on Lucky. That's not what we expected. We just said, hey." Anyway, let's get into the clip.
I'm tracking you guys. One of those. Man, this video is hard to make. So we're going to talk about Adam 16. Some rich white dude. Rich white dude. that likes to make money off starting guerra between the blacks and raza. That's how he makes his money. That's how he gets his name. He's done it before. He's going to do it again. That's what he does. That's where he makes his money. He's got a fading platform, and he's trying to bring it back up. Now he talked about Lucky from Hoodstocks. Now I'm not here to bash Lucky from Hoodstocks. I'm not here to say what he said was right or wrong. What I will say is these individuals that are calling him out, where were they when Red Supreme was disrespecting Raza, calling us wetbacks and beaners? Where was he with Tariq?
When have I ever called Mexicans beaners? You're lying. Show the video where I called Mexicans a derogatory name. I don't even call white people out of their name. I say white tea people are white people. When I talk about Mexicans, I just talk about Mexicans. This dude is lying on me. You can go back and listen to any live stream that I made about Mexicans. You never heard me call them beaners or the WB word. You've never heard me say that. Why you gonna lie on me, Sonny? Sonny straight up lied on me. Have you guys ever heard me call Mexicans beaners or the WB word? Have you ever heard me say that? What he said is, well, if y'all ain't gonna check Red Supreme and Tariq Nasheed, you ain't got no business being mad at Lucky calling y'all African booty scratchers. What? I'm gonna take it back.
Footstocks. I'm not here to say what he said was right or wrong. What I will say is these individuals that are calling him out, where were they when Red Supreme was disrespecting Raza, calling us wetbacks and beaners? Where was he with Tariq Nasheed? Where was he the other day when they were on jump 22 jumper or whatever it is, no jumper, and you had some black dude talking about Mexicans have little peepees because the girl in the interview would not sleep with a black dude, that she wanted raza.
Exactly. You heard me check people in my chat for calling Mexicans racist names. I said we're going to stick to the facts and we're going to hold them accountable for their actions, but we're not going to use racial slurs. Thank you. I appreciate my true listeners. I've never called Mexicans out of their name. I never even called white folks out of their names. I hold them accountable for their actions, but one thing that I don't do is use racial slurs. Sonny, you lied on me. You lied on me, homie. I've never said that. See, this is what he's doing. He's dog whistling to get his people running. Yeah, if I don't know why y'all mad at Lucky from Hood starts talking about African booty scratchers. The black community didn't check Red Supreme for calling us beaners. The black community didn't check Tariq Nasheed for saying the same thing. What? You're lying. You are lying just to have you're lying just to have content. I've never said that. If you look at my content, I've checked people in my comment section for using racial slurs.
When from Hoodstocks. Now I'm not here to bash Lucky from Hoodstocks. I'm not here to say what he said was right or wrong. What I will say
I'm not pleading, homeboy. See, this is where you got low intelligence. This conversation is for intelligent, like-minded people. I'm not pleading anything. I'm not going to let somebody put words in my mouth. Now, if I said something, I'm going to stand on it. But one thing that you're not going to do is lie on me and run with it to push a false narrative. That's what you're not going to do. But guess what? I'm going to show you the video of Sonny saying that they need to march and protest against our reparations. I'm going to show you the video.
These individuals that are calling him out, where were they when Red Supreme was disrespecting Raza, calling us wetbacks and beaners? Where was he with Tariq Nasheed? Where was he the other day when they were on jump 22 jumper or whatever it is, no jumper, and you had some black dude talking about Mexicans have little peepees because the girl in the interview would not sleep with a black dude, that she wanted raza.
Now, I disagree with that. Like Munchie B, like I don't care what another man's package is or what he's packing. That's for the women to talk about. So when Munchie B went on No Jumper to say, oh, Mexicans got little peepees, I would have never mentioned that. That's besides the point. Who cares? That conversation is for their women or the women who sleep with them. I could care less about that. So I don't know why Munchie B decided to bring up Mexicans, you know what I mean, their package. Like, come on, bro. So I would have never said that if I was Munchie B. But anyway, let's get back to the conversation. And by the way, this is his video. He got landscapers in the backyard cleaning up leaves. So that ain't my background. That's his background with all that run, run, run. That's his background, not mine.
Where was his oh, I need that fade? That they don't disrespect us so that they don't want to be disrespected. But you guys got saying that, oh, all Mexicans are little peepees. First of all, what the fuck is he thinking about man's peepees for? Regardless what race. You got a dude on No Jumper talking about peepees. The fuck does that have to do with anything? And you got a bunch of other grown men right there just agreeing with him. Yeah. You know what? They got peepees. Yeah, they got small peepees. The fuck is wrong with you guys, man? Nowhere in this universe of YouTube do we not got any grown men. And then we're going to point out the obvious. There are people in the black community that disrespect Raza all the damn time. Just like there is Raza that disrespects the black community. It goes back and forth. And just because we have one individual that says something or does something and a whole black community gets in an uproar. But this same community can go and tell people that Raza have a green light to snitch on blacks in the system, which is a bold-faced lie.
BG Knockout said that. You got one black man. Now you're accusing us of being mad at the Raza community over something that one man said, which was lucky. BG Knockout is the one who said that. People asked me, they said, Red, can Mexicans snitch on blacks and get away with it? I said, I'm not going to co-sign that because that's not my experience. I have seen Mexicans take care of business when they find out that their people are snitches. So I'm not going to co-sign that. That's what BG Knockout said. What BG Knockout said don't represent the whole black community. I've never seen Mexicans condone snitches. Now, you got snitches from every race. Don't get it twisted. You got Mexicans who snitch. You got blacks who snitch. You got whites who snitch. But I've never said that Mexicans can snitch on somebody black and it's okay. I've never co-signed that. Compton Rick Ross said the same thing. Like, I ain't never seen it. Not saying it is true or not true, but I can't co-sign it because I've never seen it personally. BG Knockout said that. BG Knockout don't speak for the whole black community. Anyway, let's get back to the content, though.
That says something or does something and a whole black community.
Now, if you seen it, then you seen it. Just like you got some blacks who told on Mexicans. There's cases where Mexicans have snitched on blacks. There's cases where blacks have snitched on Mexicans. But this is the thing. What BG Knockout said is Mexicans don't get punished for snitching on blacks. I don't know if that's true. But what I do know is you have Mexicans who have snitched on blacks. Just like you have blacks who have snitched on other blacks and other Mexicans. The question is, do they condone Mexicans snitching on blacks? I've never co-signed that because it is what it is. Let's move on with the content. But that's what BG Knockout said.
It's an uproar. But this same community can go and tell people that Raza have a green light to snitch on blacks in the system, which is a bold-faced lie. You guys got it all fucking twisted. If you're going to dish it out, then take it. If you're going to sit there and listen to people disrespect the Raza and you're black, Don't say nothing when the raza disrespects you back. But if you're willing to check your own fucking people, then maybe somebody's willing to check their own. Okay? Was it Raza that was running around robbing elote ladies and respaldo men and beating them up and throwing shit at them? No, that was a black community, right?
It wasn't the black community. It was a few knuckleheads and a few youngsters. The whole black community didn't accept that. The Hoovers DP'd their people for picking on elderly Mexican people who happen to be vendors. The Hoovers took care of business. To ease racial tensions, they DP'd their homies on camera for attacking elderly Mexican vendors. Our people took care of that. Our people put it on video to let the world know that we don't condone jumping on elderly. We don't condone our youngsters jumping on elderly people. We took care of business and put it on YouTube for the world to see that we don't stand behind it. We don't condone it. Now, when will you call out your people for firebombing innocent people houses for living in East LA? I never heard you speak on that, Sonny. So if you're going to talk about a vendor getting robbed, when clearly the black community as a whole don't stand behind that, when will you and other Mexicans from the Mexican community call out your people for firebombing the houses of innocent black people just for living in East Los Angeles? And East Los Angeles is damn near like 95% Chicano, Mexicano. I ain't never heard Sonny say a word about the Ramona Gardens, the avenues, the Hawaiian Gardens. I never heard him say a word about them firebombing the houses of black people just for living in their community. The nerve of this dude.
That was running around robbing elote ladies and respecting people, then maybe somebody's willing to check their own. Okay? Was it Raza that was running around robbing elote ladies and respaldo men and beating them up and throwing shit at them? No, that was a black community, right? I don't understand. You're gonna sit.
Yes, blacks rob Mexicans, but just like blacks rob other black people, but it's not racial. Make sure that you guys bless the Cash App. The Cash App is in the chat. Support the show, or you can support through Super Chat for some of this dope content. Listen, let me tell you something. Yes, we have robbed Mexicans, just like we robbed other black people. When it comes to robbery, blacks don't discriminate. You can be black, Mexican, Chinese, or Guapanese. If we catch you slipping, give it up. I'm not condoning it, but what I'm saying is that's a reality. When people are broke and they're looking for money, they will rob you. Anyway, let's get back to the content. But blacks robbing Mexicans ain't racial because for the most part, blacks are used to robbing other blacks. And let's take it a step further. Mexican gang members tax vendors in their community. Mexican gang members are known for taxing the small businesses in their community. There's a video circulating around YouTube where the 18 streets in Pico Union, if you're from Los Angeles, you know where MacArthur Park, Pico Union is. They was trying to tax this Mexican dude downtown, not downtown in the Pico Union area. The Mexican gangbangers told him he had to pay a tax. And the Mexican dude said no. He pulled out a knife and said, back up. I'm not giving y'all nothing. So maybe a week later, they strapped up and they said, we're going to come down there to teach them a lesson. The essays came down there strapped up to intimidate this Mexican vendor. And one dude pulled out a strap and started busting. He didn't hit the target. He unalived the Mexican baby. All because he was trying to extort a hard-working Mexican vendor who ain't bothering nobody. Matter of fact, in my neighborhood, I had young homies try to rob vendors. I said, y'all need to get a hustle, man. Leave these people alone. It's not right, because if your mother was selling ribs, if you got a 60-year-old mother selling ribs on the corner, you wouldn't want no Mexicans bothering her. So give people the same respect, give the same respect that you want in return. So I had little homies who was robbing vendors, and I told them, you need to get a hustle. Stop trying to rob elderly people. That's a bad look. It make us all look bad. Because believe it or not, black folks don't stand on that. Of course, we got some knuckleheads and youngsters who will rob anybody, and it's not based on color. Hit the like button, man, and support the show in a major way. So stop trying to say the black community, the black community. The black community condones black people robbing our Mexican people. The black community was harassing and beating up Mexican vendors. No, it wasn't the whole black community. It was a few youngsters. And guess what? The Hoovers corrected that mistake. They disciplined their people for doing it. But I've never seen people like you or any other Mexican podcaster call out their people for firebombing black people houses just for living in your community. You said nothing. So if you're not going to say nothing about that, because guess what? When you firebomb somebody's house for living in your community, you're similar to the Ku Klux Klan. That is Ku Klux Klan white supremacist behavior.
But if you're willing to check your own fucking people, then maybe somebody's willing to check their own. Okay? Was it Rasa that was running around robbing elote ladies and respaldo men and beating them up and throwing shit at them? No, that was a black community, right? I don't understand. You're gonna sit there and say, "Oh, well, it's our music, it's our this, it's our that, it's our this." Dude, you didn't invent music. I'm sorry to tell you, you didn't invent music. You were born around the same fucking century.
You said we didn't invent music. No, what we said is we invented hip hop. We invented rock and roll. We invented jazz, the blues, R&B, funk music. So now he's going to tell us that we didn't invent music. Well, we never said we invented music, period. What we said is we invented hip hop. Right? The music that you see young Mexicans imitating, replicating, that's us. We created hip hop. So now I want y'all to hear what he's saying. Now he's going to tell us that we didn't invent music, so we don't have the right to claim. We don't have the right to say that we created hip hop because somehow blacks never created music, so we ain't got the right to take claim to hip hop. In other words, anyway, I want y'all to hear it for yourself. This dude is crazy.
Running around robbing elote ladies and respaldo men and beating them up and throwing shit at them. No, that was a black community, right? I don't understand. You're gonna sit there and say, "Oh, well, it's our music, it's our this, it's our that, it's our this." Dude, you didn't invent music. I'm sorry to tell you, you didn't invent music. You were born around the same fucking century I was. The music was around hundreds and thousands of years before anybody. There was music in all different continents of the world. You didn't invent anything. Music has evolved.
He said we didn't invent anything. Now, how disrespectful is that? You got a Mexican telling us we didn't invent anything. The traffic light that you pull up to every day, a black man created that traffic light, but I bet Sonny don't know that. The gas mask created by a black man, I bet Sonny don't know that. The first open heart surgery done by a black man, I bet Sonny don't know that. The first blood transfusion, Sonny don't know about that. The electric socket that when you plug things into your wall, a black man invented that. I bet Sonny don't know that. But Sonny said we didn't create anything. We created hip hop. We created jazz. The oldies that the oldies that Mexicans love to listen to. Who created the oldies? Black people. Motown, R&B music, funk music, the blues, country, rock and roll. These music genres was created by foundational black Americans. But according to Sonny, we ain't created nothing. You guys ain't created nothing.
We're born around the same fucking century. I don't understand. You're gonna sit there and say, "Oh, well, it's our music, it's our this, it's our that, it's our this." Dude, you didn't invent music. I'm sorry to tell you, you didn't invent music. You were born around the same fucking century I was. The music was around hundreds and thousands of years before anybody. There was music in all different continents of the world. You didn't invent anything. Music has evolved. Music has evolved. Okay, yes, there's rap. So what? Don't mean nothing to me. I'm not rapping. Music has evolved. Okay, yes, there's rap. So what? Music was around hundreds and thousands of years before anybody. There was music in all different continents of the world. You didn't invent anything. Music has evolved. Okay, yes, there's rap. So what? Don't mean nothing to me. I'm not running around bumping rap. I'm not running around dressing like blacks. I'm not running around saying the N word. Not all raza is into your culture. Sorry to burst your bubble.
The young Mexican community is very much into our culture. Just because you don't listen to rap, that don't mean that the majority of Mexicans are not. Mexicans are into hip hop heavy, and hip hop is our culture. We created hip hop. Seriously. So just because you don't listen to rap music, that don't mean that young Mexicans don't listen to rap music. And I'm pretty sure if you got kids, Sonny, your kids listen to hip hop. Your kids use black slang. If you look at young Mexicans today, they don't want to be cholos no more. Young Mexicans don't want to be cholos. They got rid of the cholo culture to embrace hip hop. And what is hip hop? Black culture. Young Mexicans run around saying on the dead homies on the set, using an N-word. They get fades at the barbershops like us. They want to get design haircuts. That comes from foundational Black Americans. You can go back to the 80s. You can go all the way back to the 80s and you see blacks getting fade and design haircuts. Mexicans wore bald heads or they had their hair slicked back. Now you see the young Mexican community, the youngsters, they do everything we do. They get fades at the barbershops. They want to rap. They dress like us. They talk like us. They imitate our culture. You're an old man, Sonny. But guess what? I can guarantee you that Sonny has listened to the oldies. The OG Mexicans back in the day, in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, they listened to oldies. And who created the oldies? Foundational Black Americans. So your generation, you grew up in the 80s, Sonny. Your generation of Mexicans will listen to oldies. When you jam oldies, guess what? Guess who made that music? Foundational Black Americans. So from the OG Mexicans who listen to the oldies to the new school Mexicans of today who are heavily influenced by hip hop, guess what? You guys are known to embrace our culture. So you want to replicate and imitate our culture while disrespecting us at the same time. You don't see black people making mariachi music while disrespecting the Mexican culture at the same time. We would look crazy if you did. We would look crazy if we did that, just like your people look crazy for imitating everything we do while disrespecting us at the same time. Now, I know you're going to say, it ain't all Mexicans. It ain't all Mexicans. It's a whole lot of them. You guys run around. You guys have a loose alliance with skinheads and white supremacists in prison. You do. That is a known fact. That is public information. Stop playing. You don't see black people running around having a loose alliance with Nazis, skinheads, and white supremacists in prison, but Southern California Mexicans do. That's the difference between our mindsets. Y'all run around, y'all got a loose alliance with white supremacists. Black people, we don't. The same people who's deporting you, sending your people back to Mexico, you got a loose alliance with those same people in prison. And you want to talk about backwards thinking.
There was music in all different continents of the world. You didn't invent anything. Music has evolved. Okay, yes, there's rap. So what? Don't mean nothing to me. I'm not running around bumping rap. I'm not running around dressing like blacks. I'm not running around saying the N word. Not all raza is into your culture. Sorry to burst your bubble. There's lots of us that are not. We're into our own culture.
Mexicans are making money off of our culture doing hip hop. We don't make money off of Mexican culture because we make our own music. Let's be real, Sonny. Do you see black people making music that comes from Mexican culture to make money? No. But you do see Mexicans making music that comes from our culture to make money. That's the major difference. But of course, Sonny is not going to be honest. He's disingenuous.
I'm not running around saying the N-word. Not all raza is into your culture. Sorry to burst your bubble. There's lots of us that are not. We're into our own culture. I hear we stole lowrider. We stole. Dude, you guys need to learn some history. You guys need to understand that, you know what, man? One individual that speaks doesn't involve all raza. And if somebody wants to talk about something being racial, when a black man says a Southern car are all racist, that's a racist remark. Now, like I said, Red Supreme, Tariq Nasheed, plus the OG Bam. You guys saying anything to them dudes?
So basically, he's saying the black community need to check me. The black community needs to check Red Supreme, Tariq Nasheed, and OG Bam. Why do the black community need to check me? So basically, he's saying you can't say anything about this Lucky from Hoodstocks who said African booty scratchers. Black people can't say nothing about it. Why? Because y'all haven't checked Red Supreme. You haven't checked Tariq Nasheed. You haven't checked OG Bam. So what he's saying is until you check Red Supreme for saying what he says about Mexicans, don't have a problem with Lucky talking about African booty scratchers. That's exactly what he just said. And if you don't believe me,
But
you
you
run it back.
want being racial? When a black man says a Southern car are all racist, that's a racist remark.
We all know that Southern California Mexicans have anti-black politics. They do. Y'all got a loose alliance with the white supremacists. You are guilty by association. If you a minority that stand on business and you're for people of color, why would you form a loose alliance with white supremacists? They keep denying the fact that they had a loose alliance with white supremacists for decades in California prison. They don't want to be held accountable for that. They want us to give a blind eye to the fact that they formed a loose alliance with white supremacists all over California prisons. I'm talking about the Southern California Mexicans. I'm not talking about the Northern California Mexicans. Southern California Mexicans have formed a loose alliance with white supremacists all over California prisons. This is a known fact. It is documented. You can't get away from that, homeboy.
And we're into our own culture. I hear we stole lowrider. We stole. Dude, you guys need to learn some history. You guys need to understand that, you know what, man? One individual that speaks doesn't involve all raza. And if somebody wants to talk about something being racial, when a black man says a Southern car are all racist, that's a racist remark. Now, like I said, Red Supreme, Tariq Nasheed, plus the OG Bam. I don't see you saying any. I don't see you, Bam. Now, like I said, Red Supreme, Tariq Nasheed. Now, like I said, Red Supreme, Tariq Nasheed, plus the OG Bam. I don't see you guys saying anything to them dudes.
So now Sonny wants the black community to check me and Tariq Nasheed because apparently we're disrespecting the raza. So what he said, until the black community checks Red Supreme and Tariq Nasheed, you ain't got no business calling out Lucky from Hoodstocks for talking about African booty scratchers because the black community refuses to correct or check Red Supreme or Tariq Nasheed. This is what Sonny said. So the black community got to check me. So if the black community don't want to check me, they ain't got no business being upset with Lucky from Hoodstocks talking about African booty scratchers.
I said, Red Supreme, Tariq Nasheed, plus this remark. Now, like I said, Red Supreme, Tariq Nasheed, plus the OG Bam. I don't see you guys saying anything to them dudes. But you want to talk when one person says something out of line. That don't make no sense to me. At that point, you're trying to be a bully. It ain't gonna fly. So you know what? It's unfortunately, Rasta has gone through some shit with the black community in Los Angeles. There was a time in the 70s, the 80s, we were short in the system. We used to get bullied or tried. They would try to bully us. We'd be short. Mexicans, very little, and a lot of blacks in the county jail. I was there in the 80s. I know. As the years have gone by, it's flipped and there's more numbers of raza in the county. And yes, it gets racial. But it was getting racial in the 70s and the 80s too. Don't let everybody fool you and say, oh, we're just trying to go after them because we got the numbers. That ain't it. It's always been like this. If you're going to talk, be truthful. And if you're going to try to check somebody because something's said, make sure you check your people first. Don't come up and start a
What
fight.
he's saying is, until the black community checks Red Supreme, Tariq Nasheed, and OG Bam, don't have a problem with Mexicans saying racist things about black people, because the black community, y'all ain't checked Red Supreme or Tariq Nasheed. So we ain't got no business calling out Mexicans for their racist comments.
As the years have gone by, it's flipped and there's more numbers of raza in the county. And yes, it gets racial. But it was getting racial in the 70s and the 80s too. Don't let everybody fool you and say, oh, we're just trying to go after them because we got the numbers. That ain't it. It's always been like this.
It hasn't always been like this. When blacks had the numbers in the 70s and 80s, we didn't have a policy that was anti-Mexican. We didn't. Did Mexicans get bullied by blacks? I'm pretty sure they did. But blacks got bullied by blacks back in those days, so it wasn't racial. But what you guys are doing is pure racial, because you formed an alliance with white supremacists in prison. Blacks ain't never formed an alliance with white supremacists in prison, but Southern California Mexicans did. That's the major difference. Black people bully everybody. You can be Mexican, black, or white. Yes, you might be a victim to being bullied by blacks. That's happened. So I'm not gonna deny the fact that blacks have bullied Mexicans. I've seen it. Just like I've seen a lot of Mexicans be racist. A lot of blacks are just dominant, so they'll bully anybody that they perceive to be weak. But that ain't got nothing to do with race. Southern California Mexicans forming a loose alliance with white supremacists, that is racial. That is hatred. If you are a minority in this country, why would you want to form a loose alliance with a bunch of skinheads and white supremacists? Southern California Mexicans have done it. Now, they'll deny it and pretend like it's not true, but it is true.
If you're going to talk, be truthful. And if you're going to try to check somebody because something's said, make sure you check your people first. Don't come up and start all kinds of shit for nothing. You're going to cause some problems that don't need to be there. You guys are constantly saying Southerners are racist. There's a lot of Southerners that kick it with the blacks, party with the blacks, that treat blacks like family.
And there's a lot of blacks who have treated Mexicans like family. I grew up with a lot of Mexicans and I got love for them and I treat them like family. But what I'm talking about is Mexicans in prison. Mexican Southsiders and Serranos, they have anti-black politics. I got to be real with that. I grew up with a lot of Mexicans that I treat like family. And every time I see them, it's nothing but love. I never condone anybody preying on the weak. I don't care what color they are, because I'm not a bully and I don't condone people preying on the weak. I've never condoned that. I don't care what color you are. I got young homies from my neighborhood who would prey on elderly people, and I would say, "Hey, homie, that ain't cool, man. Get a hustle." All you're gonna do is start racial tension, picking on elders from other races. That ain't cool. So I've checked my own homies for doing out of pocket stuff like that, because I understand what that's gonna lead to. But I've never seen none of these Mexicans hold their people accountable for firebombing the apartments of black people just for living in East LA, just for living in the Hawaiian Gardens territory. I've never seen none of you Mexican YouTubers or podcasters hold your people accountable for engaging in Ku Klux Klan behavior. I've never seen it.
So you save all this. Just because you got a couple knuckleheads doesn't mean to disrespect everybody. And that's the problem, is you're disrespecting everybody. All Mexicans. And I still want to know why that fool worried about Mexican pee. That fool got infatuation or
Well, that's
something.
Munchie B. Like, I would never bring up somebody's pipe or somebody's swipe. That's Munchie B. I don't care what Mexicans are packing. That's not even on my mind. So I said, well, damn, Munchie B, why even bring that up? That's crazy. Let's go to the next clip. Sonny made videos about me a minute ago. Listen.
No disrespect to the black community. I've got subscribers that are black, and American Coward, chop it up and send this to the black community. By all means, handle your business. I ain't tripping. No disrespect to the black community. I've got subscribers that are black. I have friends that are black. I have family members that are black. But I do want to get on this guy's bumper, Red Supreme. Red Supreme has made a video about me a while back talking about I was a racist because I didn't believe in reparations for the blacks. Even though I clearly spoke to him and told him me being against reparations was for anybody, not just blacks, but anybody getting reparations, and it was clearly from a taxpayer's standpoint.
So how are you going to say you're against black Americans receiving reparations because it's from a taxpayer standpoint? You don't have a problem with us paying taxes for millions of illegal border hoppers. These illegal immigrants get housing, medical, dental. Their children got to learn English. That come out of our money. Our tax dollars fund these illegals. See, it's mighty funny that he want to say, well, I'm against reparations because I don't want our tax dollars to go to paying reparations to blacks, but he ain't got a problem with our tax dollars supporting illegal immigrants and border hoppers. He ain't got a problem in the world with that.
I do want to get on this guy's bumper, Red Supreme. Red Supreme has made a video about me a while back talking about I was a racist because I didn't believe in reparations for the blacks. Even though I clearly spoke to him and told him me being against reparations was for anybody, not just blacks, but anybody getting reparations, and it was clearly from a taxpayer's standpoint. Okay, now listen. Red Supreme is constantly causing division. Every video that he comes out about, he's talking about Raza one form or another. He's always talking about Raza. In this last video, I seen him talking about Lefty Gunplay and Swifty Blue. Talking about that they're stealing from the black culture, that hip hop is black music, and they shouldn't be using the black culture music in order to make a living. Okay, he can push the narrative all he wants, but it's been well documented that Latinos were part of the beginning of hip hop.
Latinos participated. They had nothing to do with the creation of it. It is well documented that hip hop comes from black culture, not from Latinos. You guys grew up listening to mariachi and salsa music. Puerto Ricans grew up listening to salsa. Mexicans grew up listening to mariachi because that's the music that your parents played in your household. You don't even understand where the elements of hip hop comes from. You're ignorant to music. You don't even understand the elements of hip hop. Hip hop comes from samples, sampling the music that we made prior to hip hop. But of course, Sonny doesn't know that because he doesn't understand music. Show me one dance that Latinos made popular in hip hop culture. Not one. Show me a rap style that Latinos made popular in hip hop culture. You can't name one. All the Latinos that you see in hip hop, they are copying and replicating black foundational black Americans because we are the culture, we are the trendsetters. If Mexicans stop making hip hop today, let's say if Mexicans couldn't make hip hop no more and they had to make music coming from their own culture, they couldn't even make money. So all the Mexican rappers need to think foundational black Americans because you're making money off of our culture. You don't see foundational black Americans making music that comes from Latino culture. Why? Because we got our own culture. We make our own music. Latinos got to copy what we do as foundational black Americans because they want to make money off of our culture. That's the reality of it. I'm not making anything up. You don't see young black Americans who are influenced by Latino music or Latino culture. You don't see that. Why? Because we got oldies, we got R&B, we got jazz, we got the blues, we got funk music, we got rap, we got hip hop. We create our own music. Reggaeton comes from reggae. And the Jamaicans who created reggae, who do you think they got their influence from? Don't make me show the video of the Jamaicans who created reggae. They'll tell you we was influenced by black Americans. And that's how we created reggae. And reggaeton is an imitation of reggae. Where does reggae come from? The people who created reggae was influenced by foundational black Americans. So all of this music traces back to us. Reggaeton is a ripoff of reggae. We are the cultures. We are the trendsetters. Everybody want to talk like us while disrespecting us at the same time. Everybody want to listen to oldies and hip hop. And who created oldies and hip hop? Foundational black Americans. This is not me being arrogant. I'm giving you facts. I'm giving you facts. This has nothing to do with my feelings. This has nothing to do with my ego. These are facts. The problem is people don't want to accept the facts. They don't want to accept it.
He can push the narrative all he wants, but it's been well documented that Latinos were part of the beginning of hip hop. Whether he likes it or not, you cannot change facts. Facts are Latinos were part of hip hop in the beginning. Not
Latinos participated in hip hop, but they had nothing to do with the creation of the music. Let's set the record straight.
only in the beginning, but the success that it's had. Latinos are probably the biggest supporters of hip hop, buying the products. Now, I will grant you, I'm not very fond of a lot of raza doing hip hop, but there are some like you know what's the name, lighter shade of brown, and stuff like that. It's I mean, there's music out there that
Shout out to Tiffany for the Cash App. Shout out to Evelyn for the Cash App. Shout out to Stacy for the Cash App. Let's get some of you brothers to support the Cash App because so far we only have women who say stand on FBA business. I appreciate you ladies, and I will make more content for you. I will make more content for you guys. So far we got 3 black women who bless the Cash App. Let's get some of you brothers to bless the Cash App if you really love content like this. Game delivered by Red Supreme, hard hitting content. Let's get it. We got 800 some people watching. Let's get some brothers to become contributors to this content.
I'm very proud of for my gente, and they're very good, and they're not exploiting anybody's culture. But to
They are exploiting culture because hip hop is black culture. You don't see black people making music that comes from your culture, but you guys make music that comes from our culture. So you guys are eating and making money off of our culture. We don't make money off of music that comes from your culture. You guys are depending on our culture to make music. Listen, young Mexicans don't even want to be cholos no more. Young Mexicans don't even have their own culture. Now, when Mexicans was cholos, they had their own culture when they were cholos. But the young generation of Mexicans don't want to be cholos. Why? Because they understand that you can't be a cholo and be relevant in hip hop. So they got rid of the cholo culture to embrace black culture to make money off of hip hop music.
say that Latinos were not part, and that this is a black culture is almost comical.
It's almost comical. Go back to if you listen to music that comes from Mexican culture, it has nothing to do with hip hop. If you listen to music that comes from Latino culture in general, it ain't got nothing to do with hip hop. But if you listen to music that comes from Black culture, we've been dancing, we've been breakdancing, we've been rhyming over beats, we've been had this soul. Soul music don't come from Latino culture; it comes from Black culture. Those are just the irrefutable facts. Listen, Sonny, what type of music did your parents grew up listening to? Mariachi music. If Mexicans and Latinos came outside playing the music that their parents listened to in their household, nobody in the urban community wanted to hear Latino or Spanish music because nobody wanted to hear that. This is an English speaking country. Our music as foundational Black Americans is what influences the world. Latino music don't have an influence across the world like our music does. And that's just me giving you the facts. It ain't got nothing to do with my feelings.
Culture and very good, and they're not exploiting anybody's culture. But to say that Latinos were not part and that this is a Black culture is almost comical. This man needs when he was making a video about me, he talked about a doctor, a Black doctor that did the first successful heart surgery and the first blood transfusion. It was true. The person that did it was Black. Their skin color was Black. But
Ain't no
he's
but. The first open heart surgery was done by a Black man. The first blood transfusion was done by a Black man. The Black man created a traffic light that everybody uses across the world. There is no but. There is no but. We did the first blood transfusion. We did the first open heart surgery. We created the traffic light. We created hip hop music. We created jazz. We created the blues. We created oldies. We created funk music. These are foundational Black American creations. There is no but.
looking. It's almost like a half empty cup. Okay, it's how you look at it. I looked at it as those two individuals took the opportunity to go to school and learn who taught those individuals. Was it Latino? Was it white? Was
No,
it
they did their own study and research. Because if that's the case, a white man would have came up with the first open heart surgery, with the first blood transfusion. So what he's trying to say is you have to be educated from whites to do it, man. You sound dumb, Sonny. You're too old to sound this foolish. So you're telling us we needed to learn from white people to create something? If that's the case, white people would have did the first open heart surgery. They would have did the first blood transfusion. The white man would have created the traffic light. This comes from our knowledge, our wisdom, and our understanding. That's how we created these things as foundational Black Americans. Instead of Sonny saying, well, you know what, a Black man did create, the first open heart surgery, the first blood transfusion. The Black man did create the traffic light. The Black man did create hip hop. Sonny is going out of his way to not give us props. But guess what? We don't need Sonny to give us props. Why? Because the facts of history is on our side. All you need to do is the research. So I don't need Sonny or any Latino to give us props for something that we created. History proves what I'm saying. You can't change the facts. The fact that you refuse to give props, it shows the racism that's in your heart. Because if you was being real, you would say, well, a black man did create the traffic light. A Black man did the first open heart surgery. The Black man did the first blood transfusion. Instead of Sonny paying homage, he's looking for any and every excuse to discredit foundational Black Americans. This is the same guy who spoke against our reparations. So are we really surprised?
Asian that taught them empty cup. Okay, it's how you look at it. I looked at it as those two individuals took the opportunity to go to school and learn. Who taught those individuals? Was it a Latino? Was it a white? Was it an Asian that taught them and schooled them on how to do it? Those individuals went to school and they were well educated in order to do that. It shouldn't validate a podcaster in 2024 that wants to yell out, we're better than everybody because I'm black. That you're stealing everything from a black. If you want to look at it this way, let's play your game, okay? Red Supreme, we'll play your game. Okay. We'll stop doing hip hop. If you stop counting money, you don't get no currency. You don't do anything with arithmetic. Everything starts with arithmetic, including medical. Everything starts with arithmetic. Who created that? The Aztecs.
The Aztecs were not people with Spaniard blood. You're not the original Aztecs, right? The Aztecs were swarty. What does swarty mean? People of dark skin, a dark complexion. The Aztecs did not have Spaniard European blood, so you guys are not the Aztecs. Huh? And I got to say this to the Mexican community respectfully, and I got to give you some facts about history. The Aztecs and the Mayans did not have Spaniard blood. They didn't have European blood. So you're not the same people. The same way that foundational Black Americans are different from Africans in Africa, we're not the same as Africans in Africa. We got indigenous blood in us, and of course we have European blood because of the slave trade. So foundational Black Americans are different than Africans culturally. So you can't claim to be an Aztec as a Mexican of today, because Mexicans today got a lot of European blood. You guys have Spaniard conquistador blood. The Aztecs were dark-skinned people. They didn't have European features. So you can't claim Aztec, because the Mexicans of today are half European, half native, with a splash of African blood in them. The Aztecs did not have European blood. So you got to stop claiming the Aztecs. You are not those people. Culturally, you're not the same. And if you want to judge it by DNA and bloodline, you are not the same. The Aztecs did not have Spaniard conquistador European blood. They did not. These were swarthy people. When you look at the word swarthy, that is dark-skinned, melanated. The same people that Mexico hate on today. Stop claiming to be Aztecs. Aztecs didn't have European blood.
So if you're counting money, currency, your bills, your subscribers, and what you made this month, you're stealing from our culture.
Nobody has ever stole from your culture, because for one, like I said, the Aztecs did not have Spanish conquistador blood, but you do. The modern day Mexicans got a lot of European admixture. The Aztecs look nothing like the Mexicans that you see today. Those are completely different people. Just like when you look at the United States of America, you got different tribes and you got different people. If you go to Africa, everybody in Africa don't look the same. You got lighter skinned Africans, you got darker skinned Africans, you got people who are mixed with different things. Africa is a continent with different tribes of people with different languages and different religions. The same in Mexico. Everybody in Mexico is not the same. You want to be an Aztec so bad, but guess what? I understand the history. The Aztecs did not have European Spaniard blood. So the Mexicans of today are not Aztecs. Their bloodline comes from Europe and other places, with a splash of native, with a splash of African. The modern day Mexican is completely different from the Aztecs and the Mayans.
How ignorant that sounds by you saying we're stealing from the Black culture. That's how ignorant it sounds. See, it goes both ways. And I'm not trying to disrespect you. I'm just trying to show you the errors of your ways.
Shout out to Tommy. Let's get some more brothers to bless the cash out. We got 800 people in here. Why don't y'all show y'all love and appreciation for somebody to stand on business, for somebody that's speaking up for the people in the culture. Shout out to Tommy. We got 3 black females who supported the Cash App, and so far we got 1 black man. Out of 800 people, let's get 20% of the audience to show love to this show. Let's go. I got to break the news to you, Sonny. The Aztecs didn't have European blood. They didn't have Spaniard conquistador blood. The Mexicans of today are completely different from the Aztecs and Mayans. The Aztecs and Mayans did not have that Spaniard conquistador blood in them, homie. That makes you completely different from them. You're not the same people. Just like foundational black Americans, we're not the same as Africans in Africa. We got a completely different bloodline. We got our own culture and our own history in America. We're not the same as Africans, just like modern day Mexicans are not the same as Aztecs and Mayans. They're completely different.
You're causing division between two groups. When you sit there and constantly talk about another race and make it about the color of somebody's skin, who's the racist? It's you. You need to stop focusing on. That's how you're making your money. It's talking about raza. That's how you're making your money on YouTube, talking about my people.
Okay.
Still in our culture. What do you? And then you said something to the effect that because they wear thick chains, that's not a raza thing. Dude, have you not seen the paisas of Mexico? Cartels? You think blacks wear chains? Oh, you ain't seen shit till you see a paisa from the cartels have chains. Dude, you're speaking and it doesn't make sense and it's not right. It's disrespectful. You want people to have respect for your gente, your people, then you need to have respect for everybody else's. It's not because things aren't done because of somebody's color of their skin. And it's hypocritical to even think that. It's comical. Like I said, hip hop has been documented. I know you guys try to change the narrative. You and Nasheed are always trying to change it in history and the books and
So he said Red Supreme and Tariq Nasheed is trying to rewrite history. But you're the same people who have the same mindset and ideologies of a Spanish conquistador. But Red Supreme and Tariq Nasheed is trying to twist the narrative. Hip hop is a foundational black American creation and it had nothing to do with no Latinos. Latinos participated in hip hop, but this music does not come from Latino culture at all. Don't get it twisted for 1 second, homeboy. Foundational black Americans, we can show you the music that we created prior to hip hop. Can't listen, if Latinos showed you the music they created prior to hip hop, you would be like, man, please turn that off because we don't listen to that. You guys created salsa and mariachi music prior to hip hop. Prior to hip hop, we created the blues, the jazz, funk music. You had James Brown dancing and rhyming. You had Pigmeat Martin. We've been dancing and rhyming over beats prior to any contact with any Latino in this country. Go back and listen to the music that Latinos listen to. Go back and listen to the music that Latinos made in the 60s. Then you can go back and listen to the music that foundational black Americans made in the 60s. It's clear to see where hip hop comes from. It's not even up for conversation. It's not even up for debate. You lost, you got cooked. You've been intellectually cooked. The facts are not on your side. You grew up listening to Spanish music, and ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that, but that's the reality. Those are the facts. Foundational black Americans grew up listening to James Brown, Isaac Hayes, the Commodores. You know what I mean? George Clinton, Motown music, funk music, house music. You know what I'm saying? Al Green. That's soul music. You guys ain't never created soul music to touch the souls of people. If you look at the music that foundational Black Americans created prior to hip hop, then you look at the music that Latinos made prior to hip hop, it's night and day. It's not even the same. You understand where the elements of hip hop comes from, and that's the music that foundational Black Americans created. Latinos had nothing to do with the creation of hip hop. They participated, but they had nothing to do with the creation of the music.
Everything else to reflect that a black man did it. Well, you're doing it now. Are you the first podcast? Somebody's color of their skin. And it's hypocritical to even think that. It's common.
Zoot suits were made popular by Black Americans during the Renaissance, the Harlem Renaissance era, right? You had jazz musicians who made the zoot suits popular. So when Mexicans started wearing zoot suits, they got that from the jazz musicians who happened to be Black. Blacks are the ones who made zoot suits popular. We're the ones who made zoot suits fashionable. Go back and do your history on the zoot suits, and you're going to see who made zoot suits popular and famous. That was foundational Black Americans. Now, if you want to talk about lowriders, that's a whole nother story. You can get some of the OGs in LA. Shout out to Dewan B, because Dewan B did a good thing about the lowrider history. That's a whole nother conversation. I'll do a live stream about that. But young Black people don't even care about lowriders. We could care less. But if you want to talk about the history of lowriders, I got a whole nother live stream that we'll make about that. And we'll talk about some of the OG Blacks from the 50s, the 40s, and we'll set the record straight with that. But right now, we're talking about hip hop. Most Black people don't even care about a lowrider. We don't make money off of lowriders. Who cares about it? But if we want to get into the history of lowriders, I got a whole nother live stream coming up about that this week. And we're going to cook and give y'all some valuable information to set the record straight when it comes to history. Yeah, salute to the game, family.
Like I said, hip hop has been documented. I know you guys try to change the narrative. You and Nasheed are always trying to change the narrative and history and the books and everything else to reflect that a black man did it. Well, you're doing it now. Are you the first podcaster? Was a black the first podcaster? If not, then you should step off of YouTube because you're still in somebody else's culture. Now, I'm not complaining about it. I didn't start it. I'm not trying to validate it by somebody else's accomplishments.
The OG Blacks were not getting murked by anybody. You guys are the ones complaining about the Paleteros. The OG Blacks, listen, homeboy. Mexicans were listening to our music back in the 60s and 70s. Black people ain't never listened to Mexican Latino music. Blacks, we've never been influenced by Latino culture. We've never been influenced by Latino music. If you want to go back to the 90s, not all Black people wore Dickies and Chucks. Do you know that Black people who were players were Carl Kanai, Nautica, Polo? We made that popular. We made that fashionable. The Blacks who was getting money in the 90s, they weren't running around in Dickies and Pendletons all day. That's SWAT meet gear. That clothing was made available to Blacks in the community who didn't have cars or whatever, even Latinos. So they supplied us with Dickies and flannels. But Black people who were players and hustlers, they wasn't running around in Dickies and Pendletons all day. And you can go back to the 90s and 80s. Black people, we were Fila jumpsuits, Adidas jumpsuits. I'm talking about in the 80s and the 90s. Mexicans wore pants way past it. Mexicans wore their pants all the way up to their chest. And they had slick back hair. Even when Black people wore Dickies, we didn't wear our clothes the same way as Mexicans. We didn't rock our hair like Mexicans. We didn't talk like Mexicans. The only Black person that you saw talking like a Mexican was a Black person from a Mexican gang. Now you got Mexican gangs who are known to have anti-Black hatred. Let me rephrase that. Let me rephrase that. Mexican gangs of today who got a long history of racism towards Blacks, they still talk like us. The Tortilla Compton Flats, the Tortilla Flats in Compton, they are notorious for being racist towards Blacks. How do they young homies talk? On the dead homies on the set, and they're making rap music. You don't see black people dressing and talking and acting like Mexicans. You don't. But you see Mexicans from Mexican gangs who dress, talk, and act just like black people. Black people ain't never listened to music that comes from Mexican culture, but Mexicans have always listened to music that comes from our culture. Why? Because our culture is a dominant culture. We've influenced Mexicans a long time ago. You don't see black people running around bumping Mexican music, but you do see Mexicans running around, riding around, bumping music from black culture. That's the major difference. We've never been influenced by anything that Mexicans do, not musically, not slang, not the way that we dress. You guys, Mexicans in the 80s and 90s, wore their pants all the way up to their chest. We've never wore our pants like that. We never rocked our pants like that. We always had our own slang. We always had our own music. We always had our own style. If you go back to the 80s and 90s and you see black men who were hustlers and players, they didn't even wear Dickies and Pendletons. The local gangbangers who shopped at the swap meet were the only ones who wore Dickies and Pendletons. Black men who was fly, black men who had style, never even dressed like that. And when we did wear Dickies and flannels, we didn't rock it the same way that Mexicans did. It was completely different. If you don't believe me, go back to the 80s and you're going to see Mexicans with their pants all the way up to their chest with slick backed hair. Nah, homie.
You really want to go all the way back? This land belonged to my people. I'm I got American history, Native American blood in me.
Do you know that there's different tribes of natives and some of them were black? Not all of them were red skinned. Just like if you go to Africa, not all Africans look the same. There's different Africans. So if you want to look at the Americas, there was native tribes all across America, and some of those people were melanated black people. Some of them were red skinned. You living in the fantasy. I reject your deposit. Not all Native Americans look the same, just like all Africans in Africa don't look the same. You got different complexions, different hair textures, and different languages in the continent of Africa. The Creeks and the Seminoles look nothing like the natives on the West Coast. Well, you had some natives on the West Coast who were dark skinned as well, but the point is you had different tribes of natives in the Americas. They didn't all look the same. Some of them were red skinned, some of them were dark skinned, melanated people. So you can't lump all Native Americans in one group because they didn't all look the same.
Without our land, none of this is possible.
Oh, it's not your land, homeboy, because guess what? California was only Mexico for 27 years. California was only Mexico for 27 years. Let's set the record straight. If California was still under Mexico's rule, you wouldn't. If California was still under Mexico's rule, you wouldn't want to live there. You would be fleeing to get up out of there ASAP. If Texas was still under Mexico's rule, you would be fleeing to get up out of there ASAP. California was nothing when it was under Mexico's rule. And if you look at the founders of Los Angeles, a lot of black people had something to do with the founding of Los Angeles. You don't believe me? Study the history. Look at Los Angeles and how the city was developed. Black people had a lot to do with the founding of Los Angeles. Just like if you go to Mexico, the blacks in Mexico fought in a war against the Spaniards. Blacks in Mexico played a major role in Mexico gaining their independence from Spain. Gaspar Yanga, Vincent Guerrero, the Black Seminoles. So the blacks who went to Mexico, they helped Mexico in their fight against Spain. They wasn't down there freeloading, they was fighting. Gaspar Yanga in southern Mexico fought off a lot of Spanish soldiers, defeated a lot of Spanish soldiers in battle. Black people in Mexico played a major role in Mexico gaining their independence from Spain. I understand that history, homeboy.
So you want to start throwing history into things? Well, it goes both ways, man. Stop making videos
Shout
about
out to Deacon Weezo for the super chat. Shout out to First Class Citizen for the cash app. I mean, for the super chat. Excuse me. Shout out to Mogul Mays. Mogul Mays blessed us with a cash app. I wanted to say shout out to Mogul Mays for the cash app. I wanted to say shout out to SR Serum for the cash app as well. You dig what I'm saying?
Raza, make some videos to empower your people. Without our land, none of this is possible.
Oh, it's not your land, because guess what? You got a lot of land in Mexico. And the land that you own in Mexico, the people don't want to live there. That's why they're fleeing Mexico by the millions. So you say, my land, the land that Mexico owns today, Mexicans are fleeing by the millions. So I said it before and I say it again. If California was still under Mexico's rule, you guys would be fleeing by the millions. If Texas was still under Mexico's rule, you guys would be fleeing by the millions. Mexico does not have a shortage of land. Land is not the problem for Mexico, because they got a lot of land in Mexico, and Mexicans continue to flee by the millions. Make it make sense.
So you want to start throwing history into things? You know, it goes both ways, man.
No.
Stop making videos about raza. Make some videos to empower your people like you want.
Oh, I make videos to empower my people every day by telling the facts about history. I empower my people by telling the facts about history, bro.
Just do it a different way, because the way you're doing
Listen,
it.
Sonny, this ain't no beef. This ain't no beef, Sonny. We're just setting the record straight. The same thing with Lucky from Hoodstock. Ain't no beef with Lucky from Hoodstocks. This ain't about no war. This ain't about anything. It's all about setting the record straight. I don't want my people to go out there and harm Mexicans, because this is not about war or violence. We're just setting the record straight when it comes about history. Intellectual property, setting the record straight about history. That's all we doing. That's all we doing, family. So this ain't no hatred. I don't wish nothing bad on Sonny. I don't even wish nothing bad on Lucky from Hoodstocks. All we did is set the record straight about the disrespect. That is about it. This ain't about war. This ain't about wishing nothing bad on anybody. But we will set the record straight when it comes to history. That's what we will do.
All you do is cause division. Have a blessing. Ways, man.
What do you mean all I do is cause division? Your people are the ones who hooked up with white supremacists in prison. My people ain't never hooked up with white supremacists in prison, but yours did. Southsider Mexicans got anti-black politics. What are you talking about? Your politics are anti-black.
Stop making videos about raza. Make some videos to empower your people like you want. Just do it a different way, because the way you're doing it, all you do is cause division. Have a blessed one, you guys.
Now, I need you guys. We got 946 people watching. Let's get us 900 likes. And when this video uploads to YouTube, I need everybody to hype the video. Hype the video. Hype the live stream when it uploads to YouTube. That's what I need y'all to do. That's what I need y'all to do. Now, I want y'all to hear Sonny speaking bad about our reparations. I'm going to play the video. The video.
What are you talking about? To be paid.
Now, Mexicans benefit from the civil rights that we fought for. They benefit from hip-hop music. They make money off of our culture. But Sonny said the Mexican La Raza community needs to march to shut down our reparations. If you don't believe me, I got the audio. I got the video. Check it.
Your turn to those young Raza or Raza who want to believe that, you better turn your TV, brother. You better turn your radio, man.
So what do you think about these Black Lives Matter that they want to be paid for being what is it, slaves and all that?
Reparations.
Oh, yeah, there.
Are you talking about well, I heard they passed in North Carolina.
Yes.
But it was
What?
It was a small little town in North Carolina that passed reparations for whoever's over there. I'm sure they'll try to do something out here in California. I think they already actually got a little board going that they're going to start looking into it. So
Yeah, and that's what we, the raza, need to step up, protest, and I'm talking major, and turn around and tell them, no, nobody getting reparations until the Native Americans and the Mexicans get ours first.
listen, brother,
We've been going through this crap a lot longer, so I don't want to
yeah.
hear it. Because it's not fair, dog. How are you going to give a bunch of money to a specific group, dog? This is the United States, a melting pot. How are you going to give it to a specific group.
Because right now they've got the white people.
Because a Pacific group is responsible for you having the civil rights that you have today. You've been able to cross the border illegally to dump anchor babies for the sole purpose of birthright citizenship, because guess what? The 14th and 13th Amendment was created for foundational Black Americans, not for illegal border hoppers. Huh? Name something that Mexicans fought for that benefit Black people. Our music benefits Mexicans. Their music don't benefit us. The civil rights that we fought for benefit them. Nothing. I can't name anything that they fought for that benefits us. They're making money off of our culture today by doing hip hop. We don't make money off of their culture at all. I want you to hear this again. I'm gonna let it play, and I ain't gonna say nothing.
Radio, man. Your turn into to those young raza or raza who want to believe that. You better turn your TV, brother. You better turn your radio, man.
So what do you think about these Black Lives Matter that they want to be paid for being slaves and all that?
Reparation.
Yeah, there.
Are you talking about reparation? Well, I heard they passed in North Carolina.
Yes.
But it was a small little town in North Carolina that passed reparations for whoever's over there. I'm sure they'll try to do something out here in California. I think they already actually got a little board going that they're going to start looking into it. So
yeah, and that's what we, the raza, need to step up, protest, and I'm talking major, and turn around and tell them, no, nobody getting reparations until the Native Americans and the Mexicans get ours first.
listen, brother,
We've been going through this crap a lot longer, so I don't want to hear it. Because it's not fair, dog. How are you going to give a bunch of money to a specific group, dog? This is the United States, a melting pot. How are you going to give it to a specific group?
Because right now they've got the white people with so much guilt. It was your parents. And it goes back to this. That would be like me going back and talking about, hey, fool, you bust for my homie. You told me, hey, but then
no, that wouldn't even be like that. That's not even close.
Why?
It'd be like, hey, fool, your great grandfather busted on my great grandmother.
But that's what I'm getting at with that. Our stuff with our war wasn't that long ago. So if they can bring something up from 200 years ago, shit, this should be worse. In other words, this should be.
Then here goes Sonny. Hey, fool. Shout out to the LA rapper. Hey, fool. No, fool. Black shouldn't get reparations. The raza needs to march. I'm talking heavy protests. What? So the raza needs to march in heavy protests against our reparations. Come on, homie. I'm giving you the facts. I'm proving everything that he's saying. The raza. Man, please. Listen. Then you got
before I even start.
Then you got another OG Mexican right here. We're going to do a response to the Cali Hood Legends. This is another OG Mexican. If Mexicans stop making hip hop music, then they will be screwed in the game. If Mexicans couldn't make hip hop and they had to make music coming from their own culture, they wouldn't have a career right now. So Mexicans ought to thank us for creating hip hop, because you guys are able to eat off of music that comes from our culture. You don't see black people, you don't see black folks eating off of music that comes from your culture, but you guys are eating off of music that comes from our culture. That's culture appropriation. We all know that a lot of Mexicans got hatred towards blacks, but you want to make our music. If Mexicans stayed true to their prison politics, they wouldn't make hip hop, because they would say, nah, hip hop is black culture. We ain't got nothing to do with that. So you don't even want to, Mexicans don't even want to stay true to their culture. You go to prison and you promote this separation and division, but you want to make hip hop music that comes from black culture. That's hypocritical. If you're going to be anti-black, be all the way anti-black. Don't use us to make money off of our culture. But when you go to prison, you align yourselves with Peckerwoods and white supremacists. I've been calling that out for a long time. You don't see black folks making music that comes from Mexican culture while hating Mexican people at the same time. That looks stupid. It is foolish. I want to make hip hop music, but I want to be anti-black at the same time.
All right, I want to say thank you to all the subscribers, all of you who support the channel, all of you who hit those likes and hype buttons. Thank you very much. You've done a great deal by doing so to show your support. I really appreciate it very, very much. Okay, so this video is in regards to what's been going on with a comment Lucky made uh, on his podcast. Okay, well, it's gotten a little bigger now. Now they're talking about what Loca said about her being nothing but Pinochle 13, meaning she don't mess with black men. I don't see a problem with that.
Nobody cared about that woman not messing with black men. That's an old woman. Do you really think that black men are checking for that old woman? Nobody cares that she don't mess with black people. That wasn't the problem. This whole conversation started off of Mexicans being mad that Jenny 6ix9ine was rocking with Blueface. So Mexicans are responsible for this. Lucky from Hood Stock is the one that said African booty scratchers because a lot of Mexicans were mad at the fact that Jenny 6ix9ine, a Mexican woman, was rocking with Blueface. So this whole conversation was started by Mexicans, not foundational Black Americans. They were jealous of the fact that this Mexican woman was rocking with Blueface, and the Raza community, a lot of them didn't like it. Some of them said whatever, but a lot of them didn't like it. They were pretty upset that their Mexican queen, a Mexican woman that they loved so much that they are sexually attracted to. They was upset about the fact that their Mexican woman, who was a sex symbol for their community, they was upset at the fact that she was rocking with Blueface, twerking on him, sitting on his lap. The Mexican community was infuriated. Oh, how can she deal with a black man? Oh, she's betraying the raza. But that old chick that you seen on Hood, and I'm not even trying to disrespect her because I ain't got nothing to say to disrespect, but you're lying. You're being disingenuous. You think that black people was upset about the fact that that old woman didn't like black men? What we said is when she said "Puto su trece," what we were saying is, okay, she said I can't mess with a black man because of my culture, because of my beliefs, and that's cool. No, nobody have a problem with that. Nobody was upset about the fact that this old Mexican woman only wants to date Mexican men. Nobody in the black community cared about that. We made videos about Lucky using African booty scratchers and disrespecting our people. We could care less about who that old Mexican woman want to give her box to. Who cares? Nobody does.
She doesn't like black men. Some men don't like support.
He started off this conversation being dishonest. Nobody wants her wound. That woman is old. We don't care.
Really appreciate it very, very much. Okay, so this video is in regards to what's been going on with the comment Lucky made on his podcast. Okay, well, it's gotten a little bigger now. Now they're talking about what Loca said about her being nothing but Pinochle 13, meaning she don't mess with black men. I don't see a problem with that. Doesn't like black men. Some men don't like black men don't like Mexican women.
We don't care. You started out this conversation lying. Nobody wants that old woman. She got tattoos all over her arm. She is old. She's hit the wall a long time ago. We don't care about the fact that she don't like black men. It doesn't bother us.
You know, it's understandable. You know, some men don't like black women. That's just the way of the world. You can't get butthurt over something like that, okay? Now, what Lucky said, like I said in my previous video, I think it was out of line. It shouldn't have been said, even if it was together, okay? A lot of things are said on social media by the black podcasters, like I said in my last video, okay? But nobody seems to hear nothing about that. And I tagged Viral Way and Damian Porter on both these subjects. Now, I don't know what possessed Marvelous from going on to Viral Way and giving them the impression that he was speaking for the Sur or for the barrios or whatever. And I think that's the impression Viral Way and Damian Porter both took away from that exchange that he had with them on one of Viral Way's podcasts. Now, look, a lot of what he said was true. He explained to Damian Porter
Get us up to 1,000. We got 983 people watching. Let's get some more people to bless that like button. Get us up. Get us over 1,000 live viewers for this content.
And to Viral Way that.
And oh yes, shout out to Desmond Hill for blessing the Cash App, by the way.
They don't start something big over this issue. Okay. And I agree, because for one thing, it's a black and brown issue. You have a lot of black men on social media that talk down on Mexicans. I even heard Viral Way do it. Damian Porter, he understands certain things, but he gets pumped up when it's brought out a certain way. Okay, he's like me. He don't like that N word. He doesn't say it. I don't blame him. It's a derogatory term. It shouldn't even be used, especially by Mexicans, but not even the blacks. So I could get with him on that. And he agrees, Damian Porter, that this was a comment made by one person, not a group of people. Now, because a group of people don't do what you want, Viral Way, and get up and, do something to Lucky about this, that would never happen. For one, you took the wrong approach. If it was that serious, and I would never recommend you doing this, maybe someone like Damian Porter, who's done years and years of time, he knows who to get to. He knows who to talk to about these people. These people in the street, we're just gang members. We're nobody, and pretty much.
So what he's saying is people in prison are more important than people on the streets. That's a backwards mentality. Those of us on the street, we're just gangbangers. We're nobodies. No, we are somebody. I speak for my community. And I got a lot of influence in my community, and I speak to the people. I'm talking about gangbangers, civilians, hustlers, religious people. They all tap into King Supreme to hear what I got to say, because my influence runs deep. No, don't get it twisted. That Red Supreme channel was demonetized. That channel would have been over 100,000 subscribers a long time ago if I would have monetized it and kept the profanity out of certain content. Don't get it twisted for 1 second. You look at these live viewers, I get more live viewers than people with way more subscribers. You got people with 200,000 subscribers and they can't even get 500 live viewers when they go live. This channel only has 4,000 subscribers and we got 1,000 people watching. And guess what? I didn't promote this on Instagram. I didn't promote this on Facebook. I didn't promote this on no other social media platforms. I got 4,000 subscribers on this channel. And we got 1,000 live viewers. People been rocking. You got channels with 100 and 200,000 subscribers. They can't even get 400 live viewers.
A lot of what we do. There's certain rules that we follow, but, Lucky's following suit. You guys have too many black podcasters also opening the door for this type of comments and these type of activities. That's my opinion. You have yours. And
yeah, he said people in prison are more important than people on the streets. See, this is the difference between the Chicano culture and black culture. We don't worship people in prison. We don't take orders from guys in prison. In the Mexican community, they worship people that's in prison. You got people in the free world taking orders from people in prison. Imagine that. A man that's in his cell that's being told what to do 24/7. They listen to what he has to say. He has control over the free world. I wish I would take orders from somebody that's living in a cell. Got people telling you when you can sleep, when you can come out and get some fresh air. The problem with the Chicano culture, the problem with the Chicano community, they worship prison way too much. They value prison way too much. You guys give people in prison control over your lives. We don't do that in the black community. We don't give prisoners power over our lives in the free world.
That's okay. This is not a racial thing between two races. This is between certain individuals that feel blown out of the water behind this and one person that made a comment. Well, of course, if you go to hurt this man, it's going to involve more people. Okay? Why? Because if something happens, you probably didn't go through the right channels. You know, if somebody says that that shouldn't be happening and something needs to take place, then something will take place. Otherwise, you know, there's nothing going to happen. So save all that. What this knucklehead Marvelous was trying to tell you, and yes, it's true. The things you hear about him, you read about him. He had no business going up.
Shout out to Reg Dog for the cash app. Y'all need to stop. Y'all need to stop worshiping men that's in prison. That's foolish. In the early 90s, you had Mexicans, well, guys who was in the free world that spoke for the OGs in prison. They told Mexicans, if you don't get in line with the program, you're going to be dealt with in prison. So that's what I mean when I say Mexicans, the ones who are locked up, the big dogs, they control the Mexican population on the streets because they dictate the rules. A lot of Mexicans in the early 90s said, if you guys got to start attacking blacks, removing blacks from your community. And a lot of Mexican gangs followed suit with those instructions, and they started to attack black civilians in certain areas because they got the word. The word was sent from their big homies in prison. See, in 1992, you had a gang truce between Bloods and Crips. So when the Mexicans saw that, they said, okay, we got to create our own version. That's when they started telling their Mexican people to be more violent towards blacks in certain communities, to run blacks out of their neighborhoods. That was a response to the Blood and Crip truce. So when they seen there was a Blood and Crip truce, that's when the Mexicans said, okay, we got to create this Southsider alliance, create a tax system, use fear and intimidation to get our people in line, and we're going to send direct orders from prison. That's what they did to their people. That is a known fact.
There talking for the Sur or any other gang. He's not a gang member. Okay. He's not wanted by them, nor
we already know Marvelous Inc., who went on DeVar Wade's podcast. He impregnated a 16-year-old girl. He invited the girl to his house. He gave her a tattoo. He smashed her. He hit it raw. He impregnated her. So when Marvelous pulled up to my live stream, I already knew who he was. There's two reasons why I didn't want to talk to him. For one, he impregnated a 16-year-old girl as a 43-year-old man, and he claimed that he didn't know that she was underage. He knew she was underage. She was looking good. She was looking sexy. You hit it raw. You got caught up in the moment. Though that's the reality. I'm giving you the facts. For two, when I listened to the conversation that he had with Viral, when he refused to admit that hip hop was black culture, then he went on to say that he's going to teach us more about our culture, insinuating that we were ignorant and we didn't know nothing about our own culture. Therefore, a Mexican can school us about our own culture. I said, this dude is delusional. For one, the Mexican Southsiders don't respect him because of the fact that he impregnated a 16-year-old girl. So you're not even respected or wanted in your own community. Then you have a conversation with a black man, making it seem like we're ignorant. You're going to teach us about our own culture. You need to come to my channel so that I can school you on your own culture. There was no reason to have a conversation with a dude like that. So when I seen him in my comment section the other day, I'm like, man, please go somewhere. This message is from our people. I'm not going to waste time debating somebody who's delusional like him. It is a waste of time. It is a waste of energy.
for us. He's an outcast. Okay. Now look, before he walked off the and pulled stuff and give stupid examples, he said the worst thing you could do is start some kind of beef, some type of war, because a lot of young people are gonna
Now you're lying. Marvelous is the one that mentioned war. Viral Way had a cordial conversation with him. Marvelous is the one that mentioned war. And all Viral said is, I'm just speaking up for my people. Viral Way never said that blacks should harm Mexicans. He never said that blacks should wage war with Mexicans. What he said was we need to gatekeep our culture and stand on blackness. He never made a threat towards Mexicans. Marvelous is the one who mentioned war. Get it straight. You're not being honest. You started out the conversation making it seem like blacks were mad at this old woman who's a post-wall woman. She didn't hit the wall a long time ago. You made it seem like we were mad at the fact that she didn't want to be with black men. You think black men are lusting after her? Absolutely not. Jenny 6'9" is in her prime. She's a young woman. She's sexy. She sat on Blueface's lap, and the Rasa community was infuriated. They was pissed off about the fact that this hot Latina was interested in a black man, so much to the point to where she did a live stream with Blueface twerking on him, sitting in his lap. The Mexican community was infuriated. That was the whole purpose of why Lucky Hoodstocks said what he said about black people, because the Mexican community was pissed off about the fact that Jenny 6'9" was twerking and rocking with a black man. That's exactly where all this stuff stems from. It comes from Mexicans being jealous of the fact that Jenny 6'9", a Mexican woman, was interested in Blueface, sitting on his lap and twerking. That infuriated the Mexican community. The Mexican community. That's where this whole thing stems from.
Get hurt. But Damian Porter, you're about staying out of prison, being free, people, right? Well, how can you incite or be part of Viral Ways and Gumby's constant yapping about this deal? You know, when you yourself said, my people are guilty of this too. Yes, they are. And my people are guilty of it too, Damien. But the way Viral is going about it and Gumby, like they're making it like a you know, an issue for war or you know, like something's going to happen like that, and that's the wrong approach to take. This is social media. People could say what they want. If somebody's really racist, they could come on and do a racial rant. There's people talking racist all through the internet. Okay? Now, whatever Lucky's a part of, whether he is or he isn't, because I don't know for a fact that he is, but if he's a part of that, I don't think that anybody's going to talk to him unless they're told, hey, go talk to old boy, let him know this, that, and the other, because it's causing problems here and there, you know. But you talking to some cat that none of us talk to or have anything to do with, for obvious reasons, you know, and trying to come to a conclusion in your mind and spit that shit out to the public, it's all bad, you know. Even though what he said was true. If you start something, there's going to be lives lost. Gangs are going to get involved. It's going to be bad. We don't want that. You guys don't want that unless you just don't care. But that's what my
This has nothing to do with the war. Marvelous is the one who mentioned war. You never seen black people saying that we need to go to war behind something foolish as this, but at the same time, we ain't ducking nothing. But we never said that we need to go to war behind something as foolish as this. The Mexican community was mad at the fact that Jenny 6'9" was rocking with Blueface. That's where this whole conversation stems from. Out of jealousy and out of hatred for black people, Lucky from Hoodstock said African booty scratchers because at that particular time, the Mexican community was mad at Jenny 6'9" for rocking with a black man by the name of Blueface. They were pretty upset about that. And if you don't believe me, type in Jenny 6'9" and Blueface, and you're going to see all the racist things that Mexicans were saying about black people. They were jealous of the fact that one of their women that is a sex symbol, and in their community, they was mad that this sexy Mexican woman was rocking with a black man, sitting in his lap and twerking on him. The Mexican community was infuriated. That's where this whole conversation stems from. It stems from your jealousy, not ours. It stems from your people jealousy, not ours. Your so-called Mexican queen was rocking with a black man, and that infuriated the Mexican community. That's what encouraged Lucky from Hoodstock to say African booty scratcher, because he knew the Mexican community was upset about the fact that she was rocking with Blueface. That's where this whole conversation stems from.
Podcast is always about trying to bring down the gang activity and to save these youngsters from throwing their lives away, you know? So, like, I don't know how offended you are, or you know, you could try calling out, dude. I haven't heard nobody try calling out the dude. Maybe he'll accept. Maybe
Face called him out for a fade. Sporty Face from 40s, 4Extra's cousin, told Lucky we can have a fade. We can do it on camera. This ain't got to turn into no black and brown war. We can get him up one-on-one and take a fade. Lucky from Hood Stops didn't want that fade because he don't want to get embarrassed. So he wanted to make it some hood stuff. So what he said is, I'm not going to meet up for no fade. If you want to see me, I'm going to be here on Whoopty Whoop Day. Why? So it can turn into something stupid and people get hurt or go to prison. Sporty Face said, okay, to eliminate all the racial tension so that nobody goes to jail, so that blacks and browns ain't going to war, Sporty Face said, meet up with me. We can set up a fade. We can do it on camera, and we can catch a fade live on camera and both get paid. Lucky from Hood Stocks declined. Sporty Face called him out man to man, mano y mano. He said, we ain't got to bring our gangs into it. We ain't got to bring our races into it. Ain't nobody got to go to jail. Ain't nobody go to prison. Ain't nobody got to go to prison. We can catch a fade live on air and videotape it. Me against you. Lucky from Hood Stocks turned it down. Sporty Face called him out.
He won't. That's up to him. You know, it's his choice. But nevertheless, you know, the only reason I'm making this video is because you allowed somebody onto your panel that doesn't speak for anybody, okay, but himself, you know. And I'm not saying that he doesn't have the right to. He has the right to his own thoughts, his own beliefs, like some of them he shared with you that you don't agree with. You know, some of them that he talks about I don't agree with. You know, most of them, and it is what it is. You know, he believes what he believes. You believe what you believe. I believe what I believe, and what I believe is that you guys gotta just calm down and leave this alone, unless you really want to pursue it further. And the only way you're going to be able to do that, Damian Porter knows. Talk to Damian Porter. Damian Porter, I'm sure, can get to some OGs. And if you guys really want to involve these OGs in the buffoonery that goes on social media, you know, they got better things to do with their time and their life. And
Black people ain't never said anything about war. What we said is we need to start gatekeeping our culture and kick these culture vultures out of our culture. That's what we said. We ain't said nothing about starting no war with nobody. We're protecting our culture. We're protecting our intellectual property. That's what we've been talking about. Marvelous is the one who mentioned war when he went on the Viral Way podcast. And yet the brother from Viral Way podcast held his composure, maintained his cool position. Marvelous is the one who was saying that the Rasa might want war. Why? Why do you, man, please? Ain't nobody scared of that. Do you know how long blacks in Long Beach been going to war with Mexicans? Do you know how long there's been warfare going on between blacks and Mexicans in Los Angeles? So ain't nobody scared of that. But at the same time, ain't nobody said anything about war. Your people are the ones who mentioned a war. Now you're going to say, well, Marvelous don't speak for the Rasa. Marvelous don't speak for the Rasa. Lucky don't speak for the Rasa. So Marvelous can't speak for the Rasa. Lucky can't speak for the Rasa. Huh? We all know that Lucky is from a Southsider gang. He rolls with Mexicans. He's a representative of Southsiders. He is a Southsiders. So if something hit the fan, if things hit the fan, they're going to rock with him. So you can't say that he's not Mexican when he's from a Mexican gang. And we all know that Mexicans will back his play if things hit the fan. This is common knowledge at this point. Stop playing games.
you know,
That's just like Milk 74. Milk 74 ain't black, but he's from a black gang. So his backing comes from the black community. Lucky might not be Rasa. He might not be Mexican. But guess what? His backing comes from the South Side of Mexican community. Stop playing games.
whatever they got going, than to waste their time and their energy and their anything on the buffoonery that goes on social media, you know. But and what Marvelous said was true.
Rasa.
If you guys start a gang war,
So you can't say Rasa, Rasa. You got to roll an R. He's from the Rasa. He's riding with the Rasa. You got to roll those R. Burrito, Rasa, burrito. You got to learn how to roll that R, man.
It's going to be bad. It's going to be bad for both sides because lives are going to be lost on both sides. You know, me, I don't care because I'm already lived my life. But there's a lot of young people that are going to get involved, that are going to get hurt, may get killed on both sides, and none of us want that. I don't know about viral way, but I
Right. Nobody wants that, right? This is not about being scared. It's about having common sense. People don't need to die over something that was said on the internet. I never promoted violence against the Rasa community. All I did was call them out for their, their anti-blackness. The viral way never promoted war with the Rasa community. Damian Porter never promoted war with the Rasa community. All we did was stand up for our people. All we did was call the people out who were saying something bad about our community, who was disrespecting our culture. That's all we did. But we never promoted any type of war over words that were said on social media. No, we've never done that. Let's set the record straight.
know Damian Porter has a better head on his shoulders, and when he's not, you get that man riled up. You better not be in arm's length like he says, because I'm sure you're going to get an issue. But when you catch him in a calm state of mind, the man's smart. He knows what he's saying. We have a problem with racism.
I don't think Cali Legend said anything bad. I don't think he said anything bad. I don't have a problem with Cali Legends. I don't have a problem with Sonny. I just came here to correct some things. I'm not promoting hatred or violence against the Mexican community. Matter of fact, I've checked people in my comment section for using racial slurs to the Rasa community. And if you don't believe me, you can watch several live streams where I said we're not going to use racial slurs. We're not here to disrespect them. We're just here to set the record straight about some things. So I never promoted violence against the Rasa or any other community. I don't even promote violence in my own community against my own people. I talk down on that. But I'm all for self-defense. I'm all for standing up for my people. But do I promote war and violence against other races? No, I've never done that. You can study the history. You can look at my past live streams when I make content about Black and Mexican issues in Los Angeles. I've never promoted violence against any group because I'm smarter than that.
On social media, not only with my people, with your guys' people too. You guys don't like it, and neither do we. You see how you feel, Viral Way? That's how we feel. But we hold our mud, you know? We do what we do. When you guys know how things work. If you don't, I'm not going to explain it here on social media. But you guys got it's Viral Way, especially you, man. You could talk about whatever you want in your podcast. Nobody can tell you what to talk about. All it is being.
Shout out to Cassie. Shout out to Cassip World 5801 for the super chat.
Advice to you to tone it down and don't take it there. Why? Because it's not worth it, number one. Why? Because that would mean you guys do it too. You take care of your people first before we take care of ours. When we see your people getting taken care of, and I mentioned a few on my previous video, especially the old man Bam Bam, who's always asking for beer. That fool comes out with more racist shit. Half of what he yammers on about is racist, So, and I could go on. I could name a bunch of names, but it's ridiculous, They say what they say because they feel that's how they feel.
Listen, man, you never seen blacks in Los Angeles firebombing the houses of apartments of Mexicans just because they moved in a predominant black community. But you have seen Mexicans firebomb the houses and apartments of black people for living in predominant Mexican Latino communities. I gave you the proof several times. There's no need for me to show the video. I proved it over and over, time after time. We don't run around with skinheads and Nazis in prison, but the Southern California Mexicans do. How come you want to address that? Why you refuse to address that? I get it. You don't want to piss off the big dogs in prison. I get it. So you won't touch on that.
Maybe homie said what he said because that's how he feels. He has a right to feel the way he feels, whether you like it or not. You know, if you guys were in the same space, you have a problem with it and you could deal with it. But all this barking on the internet and everything,
Ain't nobody barking on the internet because ain't nobody sent no threats to the Rasa community. I'm not sending threats. I haven't sent one threat. I set the record straight when it comes to culture and history. That's all I did. This ain't no barking. I'm not talking reckless. I'm here to put things in proper perspective so that people can gain a better understanding of what's really going on.
you guys got to chill with all that. You don't have to. You could keep on making yourselves look desperate and, getting all
Really
excited
going on.
over something that we've been dealing with you guys for the longest. But anyways, I just wanted to make.
See, they're not being honest. This is why these conversations are really a waste of time. They'll never address the fact that their people are using our culture to make money. We're not using your culture to make money. We're not doing that. If you look at the music that foundational Black Americans created prior to hip hop, you will see where the elements of hip hop came from. Look at the music that Latinos made prior to hip hop. Not even close. Latino music has never influenced urban culture. But Black music, on the other hand, has always influenced American and urban culture or people across the globe. Nobody's influenced by mariachi music. Nobody's influenced by salsa. Everybody's influenced by hip hop, rap, R&B, the blues, jazz, rock. So if you look at all the music genres that Black Americans created prior to hip hop, you see where the influence comes from. It's common sense at that point. We are the culture. We are the trendsetters. The way we rock our hair, the haircuts we get in the barber, everybody's copying that. You got people getting fades. They're not even known for that. You got people using our slang, making our music, dressing the way that we dress. I mean, you got people stealing our whole swagger, stealing our culture. You don't see Black Americans trying to dress and talk like other races. You don't see Black Americans making music that comes from other people's culture. We don't have to do that because we take pride in the music and the culture that we have. All I said was this, and I can say the Viral Way podcast said the same thing. Stop appropriating our culture. If you're so proud of Mexican and Chicano culture, why don't you just make music that comes from your culture? But you don't want to do that because you don't even want to hear that music. You're influenced by Black culture. This is why you dress, talk, and act like us. This is why you love hip hop so much, but you refuse to pay homage, and that is a major problem. That's what we're talking about. Anyway, man, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I've been here for 2 hours. I think I've been here for long. Let me see how many likes we got so far. Let me see how many likes we got so far. If you haven't blessed the Cash App or Super Chat, make sure that you bless the Cash App and Super Chat for hard-hitting shows like this. This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I'm gonna do. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, then you're crazy. And let me say this. I've been having these conversations for the last 4 years. If anybody's been speaking up for the culture in Los Angeles, it's been King Supreme, Red Supreme. I've done videos 3 years ago where I've been talking about the same thing. And if you've been rocking with me, you're going to say, yeah, Red Supreme been talking about Black and Mexican issues for a very long time. This is nothing new for me. Shout out to the ambitions of a rider. I appreciate you, sweetie, for the Cash App. I mean, for the Super Chat. Excuse me. Huh? I've been talking about these Black and brown issues for the last 3 or 4 years, going hard in the paint about it. So if anybody from Los Angeles who's been speaking on this, it's been me. I've been going hard in the paint about these Black and brown conversations. This ain't nothing new for me. Study my history. You're going to say, yeah, Red been talking about this for a minute. Peace and love to all. Peace and love to all the foundational Black Americans. I've been standing on business for a long time. I've been having these conversations for a long time. Peace to everybody that's been rocking with us. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. Make sure that you bless that like button. And oh yeah, when this live stream uploads to YouTube, make sure that you get up in there and you hype the video. Make sure that you hype the video. The hype in the video is probably more important than the likes. So make sure that you do that for sure. I'll be back with some more content. Hey, guess what? I got some more content coming out midday where Dub spoke on Gumby from Hoover. He said Gumby from Hoover is racist, and he said something racist against Latino. So that's going to be my second live stream for the day. It's 9:11 a.m. West Coast time. I say like around 1 p.m. I'll give you guys some more content. And Dubs called out Hoover Gumby for being racist towards Mexicans, and we'll break that down. That'll be my second show of the day. Make sure that you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. It's King Supreme. Make sure that you like the stream.